Hey everybody, welcome back to our Halloween / Pumpkin Festival show where we're talking about pumpkins, and who better than Janet to talk pumpkins with me, and we'll talk to her in a second. Well, how about right now? Let's go over. Hi Janet, how you doing?
Luca, how you doing?
You ready? This is how big you grow your pumpkins, right?
We like the small ones.
You like the small ones, and if you're growing bigger, well, if we had 30,000 of those carved out, we'd break the record in no time. Right. Well, Pumpkin Festival was just upon us. We're in the season for pumpkins, and our culinary journey is about using squash, pumpkins, and using them in cooking. Not the ones that you brought with the candle, mind you. Those go to the pigs and to the farms, right?
They
That's
get
the best way.
recycled.
Yeah,
yes.
let's recycle those. But the ones that you buy, pie pumpkins, we'll talk a little bit about that. But we're going to be just talking pumpkins, and that's what it's all about. And there's nothing else to say, but your pumpkin journey starts now. Welcome back to our culinary journey. I'm Luca Paris. I'm here with Janet. Well, Janet's going to tell us all about pumpkins today. That's right. Pumpkin Festival just happened. We're going to talk about pumpkins. And Janet, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And if I could ever get the stove to get started, we'll actually start our first dish. So we're going to be making butternut squash. Well, actually, pumpkin and sweet potato soup. Then we're going to be making butternut squash raviolis. Ravioli. Okay, that's not going to start for me. Butternut squash ravioli, and then we're going to make pumpkin cheesecake. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right, so you have a pumpkin farm. Tell me a little bit about it while I get myself set up over here.
Well, we don't really have a pumpkin farm, but we have a lot of pumpkins in our garden.
Oh, okay, that'll work.
And we do have a wonderful group of neighbors that all have a garden together, and we plow the garden with our horses, and everybody helps with the weeding and the rototilling, and then we all get to harvest together. So it's a great way to bring your community together. I
was going to say, it's very old-time community spirit oriented, right?
It is.
Everybody getting together, doing whatever the harvesting is, or and that time of the year. Now, and that's locally here, not too far.
Up in Alstead.
Awesome.
So that's like the best place to live. We live at the best place. I can't imagine living anywhere else.
And all your neighbors came down today.
They did.
And then a big round of applause for all the neighbors.
The neighbors.
Woo! They're all here today, kind of supporting you today. And you brought in some different pumpkins that are from your garden. As far as what kind are they actually? Is there a difference in pumpkins? I mean, just superficially. I mean, we don't have to get into scientific names, but is there a major difference in what you should cook with and what you should carve?
Yeah, we buy a lot of our seeds from Johnny's Select Seeds, which is a Maine grower, and we probably grow 8 or 10 different varieties. This year wasn't a great pumpkin year,
right?
But you see around the set that we do have some of the ones from our garden this summer. So we have some that are better for pies and some that are better for decorations, and yeah, we love growing pumpkins.
That's awesome. Now, what I'm making here with pumpkin and using a little bit of pumpkin and sweet potato, because I like that sweetness that sweet potato gives. I'm making a soup. So I'm starting out with some shallots. I'm adding some brown sugar. You almost think this almost comes out to be a pumpkin pie, because I actually add I blended my own little pumpkin pie spice mix that has a little bit of allspice, cinnamon, and nutmeg in it. So we keep that all together. And we're going to start cooking that down with our shallots. And the most important thing is a little New Hampshire style maple syrup, right? Because that's the best that's out there. We'll just put a little bit of syrup in the bottom of that. We'll let that cook down. All right. So we're going to let those ingredients get in there. Now, one of the things that I like to do, we have a lot of sweetness when it comes to this. We need to add some salt and pepper to kind of balance off that sweetness. It's going to be just a little overly sweet. What this salt and pepper will do is it'll enhance the flavors of the cinnamon and nutmeg and allspice, and then it'll just kind of counterbalance that maple syrup flavor. So we'll add that in there. And then we're just going to add some sweet potato and the mashed pumpkin, which is best done. And now, what would be the best way to cook down a pumpkin if you want to steam it for pumpkin pie? Is there a better way than not?
I cook it like you would an acorn squash. So cut it in half, put it upside down in water in the oven, and bake it. And then when it's all soft, you can scoop out the pulp.
Oh, excellent. Now, what I need to do is get a little bit of vegetable stock. Well, actually, we're going to just add a little bit of water to this because we won't really need a lot of vegetable stock. We don't want to add too much other flavors. And this is going to be the base for our soup. We're going to add some water to this and get this back on. We're going to get it onto a boil. And that'll start our soup. That's how simple a butternut squash or a pumpkin soup or sweet potato soup can be, because you have all your flavors in there. The only other thing we're going to add to that is a touch of cream. And we're going to let that cook down. And when we come back from break, we're going to taste just how good that can be. About 25 minutes on the stove, just like this. It'll get you all your flavors that you need in there. All right? So that's our first thing. Sounds good so far?
Sounds wonderful.
All right.
Smells great, too.
Yeah, I know. You can't go wrong. All right. So the next thing we want to do is, well, the next thing we want to do is actually go to take a quick break, because then I want to make a nice sauce with some pumpkin ravioli. And I got to get that all set up. So that's our soup. We're going to get some pumpkin ravioli together, or butternut squash ravioli together. Is there a major difference?
Well, squash and pumpkins are all the same family.
So that's it.
So mixing them together is great.
It's like cousins hanging out.
Cousins.
Beautiful. So we're going to have some cousins hanging out in our ravioli. It's all about family and local people helping each other. It doesn't get much better than this. It's all about pumpkins. And when we come back, we'll make some great ravioli. Don't go away. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. We're making pumpkin and sweet potato soup. Just got to remember what we're doing, and then we're going to be making a ravioli. And I'm here with Janet, who is all about pumpkins today, right?
Yeah.
All about pumpkins. All right, so Janet, since I don't have a ladle on my show, we like to use this as our ladle. So this is what you're getting your soup in today. Hope you don't mind. Well, we kind of like traded out. This is our soup. We cooked it down a little bit longer. We have in here some allspice, or a little bit of allspice, a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon, all those pumpkin pie spices, right? And of course we have the sweet potato and then the pumpkin, and that's yummy, 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 and you're going to absolutely love it. Really easy to make, and something that's really nice and quick. It's just all about steaming the pumpkins or boiling down the pumpkins. Is it yummy?
Good.
Yeah, good.
It does. It tastes like kind of like a pie in your
bowl. A pumpkin
bowl.
pie. That's right, a warm pumpkin pie. That's what it's all about. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to steal some butternut squash. Or you could do pumpkin, or you could add some sweet potato to it. The same kind of concept that we had originally. And then we're going to make a stuffing for a ravioli. So we have the mashed butternut right in front of us. And then what we're going to add to that is some grated Parmigiano cheese, a little touch of cayenne pepper. Just give it a bite. Salt and pepper. Now, I'm going more with the savory items that would go in here. I'm not necessarily looking to go with the pumpkin pie spices or the brown sugar or anything like that. And just a touch of mascarpone. All right, that's going to help kind of bind it all together. And then we're just going to fold it all into each other. So the mascarpone is a triple creamed Italian cheese. If you want to use a cream cheese, some people use ricotta. All those kind of work out well. But the cheesiness is really where you want it. The cheesiness factor is really where you want to go. So we're going to just shut that boiling off right there. All right, and we'll get that all together. Now this is our stuffing, and it needs to have a little consistency or a little depth to it where it's going to kind of stick together, because it's got to stick in our ravioli. Have you ever made pumpkin ravioli
I
before?
never have.
No? Simple, isn't it, so far? Now the toughest thing that people tell me about doing a ravioli is to do the pasta. You know, you don't want to make your own homemade pasta. Well, I've always had this trick that we use even at the restaurant when we make our own fresh stuff, is to use wonton wrappers. Pasta is made with ingredients. Let's see, we look in the back. It's made with flour, it's made with eggs, and it's made with salt. And the three basic ingredients to making this are flour, eggs, and salt.
There it is.
Or if it's flour and water, so you could do wonton wrappers without the eggs. So you have all your basic ingredients to do a fresh pasta right here in the wonton. Now, what's really important to know is that once you start getting these to the air, they dry up quickly. So you want to use them rather quickly. And we're going to have our water boiling right there. Now, we have our wonton. We're going to play, we're going to play like artists. take some egg yolk, and you know what? In most people, when they do these recipes, they tell you just do the edges. I say do the whole thing. Then you can't miss the edges, right? Just come right off to the sides. Let's get that. All right, and then we'll just get, you want to moisten the sides of this with some egg yolk mix. There we go. And then we'll do all 4 because we're hungry. All right. Now, the best thing to do when you're doing a ravioli that you're making yourself, whether it's fresh or I mean, with a fresh pasta or with the wonton pasta, is to utilize time to hold it together. Now, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. What we're going to do is try and make these relatively quickly, and you can do that. But if you freeze these overnight, what's going to happen is that they'll hold together nicer, and then you could cook them frozen. You want about a teaspoon, possibly a little bit less, because you don't want the sides to come out. Right in the center of each of them. So how long have you had the garden for the pumpkins, Janet?
Well, once our wonderful neighbors moved in, we plowed the garden, and we've been working together ever since. So it's been, I don't know, 10 years or so. Maybe.
So does everybody share in the produce that's created out of your garden?
Yes, we share in the work, we share in the produce, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, these aren't a perfect square. Wonton wrappers are funny in a way because they're rectangles, not a perfect square. But it works great for what we're going to do. See, what I'm doing is I fold it over like it was a square, and then I have this little extra side, right? Then I fold that over. That's creating my seal on one side, all right? And then I want to make sure I press in and kind of get the air out of the other side. I flip that over. I have the same thing. Every once in a while, you'll have some residual pumpkin kind of escaping. You clean that off, and then you fold over that side. So that's how you seal in your wonton wrappers. All right, so that's one. We'll do it a couple of times, and then we'll get this cooking. Do you think this is something you would make now that you got to see it?
I'm going to have to go right home and do it.
Okay, I'll give you the rest of the wonton wrappers. All right, actually, you know what? You gave me a great idea. You're going to make the rest of these for me. See, that's what you get for saying stuff.
I'm really good at making pies.
Okay, well, let's.
All right, I'll help you out.
All right, you get that one, and you got to get this one afterwards.
Okay.
All right, and don't be afraid if some of it is off. It looks like you have a little too much. Take it out because you don't want too much. That's the big key because that'll tear the pasta while it's boiling, and you don't want to tear the pasta while it's boiling. And it's a nice little presentation too. Beautiful pasta. While she's getting those last two, I got one more. How you doing there, Janet?
Good.
Good, good, good. All right. All right, we'll see if we get this cooking up again. Well, this is pretty close to boiling water.
Mine doesn't look quite as pretty as yours.
Oh, no, yours is beautiful. Here you go. We'll give you one more to try. There you go. I just gave you the one that had the biggest stuff in it. So, all right, we'll get that on, and we'll get this on, and we'll start our sauce for, whoop, that's not what I wanted. Hey, what happens when you grab balsamic vinegar instead of oil on your own show? You wipe up and you start all over. There we go. So we're going to do our sauce for the butternut squash with a little bit of oil and salt and pepper and pancetta. All right?
Pancetta, what's that?
That's a great question. She's an excellent leader. She leads me on to the next segment.
I've never used it.
You've never used pancetta?
No.
Pancetta is a cured bacon. So it's the pork belly that's cured instead of smoked. So, but we cure it in salt. The Italians use pancetta in everything from soups to pasta dishes to just eating by itself. Because this is actually like you would eat a prosciutto or any type of cured meats, like a cured ham that is sliceable. And so instead of being in the smoked variety and that process, what you're doing is just salting it for about 6 months, and you could eat it just the way it is.
So is it brined or?
Not necessarily brined, it's dry salt packed.
Okay.
And just like prosciutto would be, prosciutto is dry salt packed, under salt for 6 months, and then it cures itself that way. So we got the pancetta cooking over here. Let's get our ravioli going down. Well, let's wait 1 second because we got a nice boil there. And let's see, we'll chop up some fresh sage and get that ready too to go with our sherry and our pancetta.
Now our neighbor Peggy is the one that always has the great sage that we
she
use.
does?
Yes.
Now what do you use it for sometimes, do you know?
Well, I use it when I have a cold, I know. I make a nice aromatherapy.
Yeah, I think originally it was a...
great in stuffing.
It's great in stuffing, but it's actually amazing with pumpkin. It really is. In northern Italy, there is a lot of zucca. We call it zucca, which is pumpkin and squash in northern Italy. And what you'll see paired there a lot is sage and meats. And you kind of get both of those flavors coming together. So we're going to add our sage. We're going to add our wine. We're going to use a little bit of sherry. And hopefully we get a little, there we go, a little show. And a little more salt and pepper in there. There we go. Woo! Hey, that's pretty cool. All right. And let's get our ravioli in. Now these, you'll know when they're done. They're going to kind of float to the top, and you want to keep them moving. You don't want to put too many in a pan. You don't want to drop the water down, the water temperature down too much, because if you do, then they're going to start breaking and then sticking, and that's no fun. So let's keep them moving around. Make sure they don't stick. So we have our ravioli cooking. We're going to add cream to this. We're going to let that reduce. So that's our sage cream sauce with pancetta. That's a beautiful thing. And then when we come back, we'll plate it all together, and we'll eat it, and we'll have some fun with that. And then we'll make cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Yay! All right, cheesecake's on the way. Don't go away. We'll be back in a culinary minute. Hey everybody, welcome back. So, hey Janet, take a look at this. They didn't break. Yay. So we made some butternut squash ravioli and our walnut sage, or not walnut, but a pancetta and sage cream sauce. I'm gonna put it on there. You need to save me at least one of these, all right? It's one of my favorite dishes, and just one. All you have to do is save me. So that's for you to hold on to. We're gonna try. Hold on, let's get a better shot of that. Ernie wants to take a better shot of that beautiful dish. There you go. And then we're gonna do pumpkin cheesecake. Sounds good?
Yeah.
All right, sounds great. So this is yours.
The whole meal.
Yeah, well that's what it is. It's appetizer, kind of an entree, and then of course dessert. And this pumpkin cheesecake recipe is one that my pastry chef makes at the restaurant, and it's all about ease of making a pumpkin cheesecake. I mean, it's super, super easy. You can't go wrong with this. So what we do first is we have our cream cheese that's whipping, and you want to get that at room temperature and get that really whipping nicely together, so that way it's just easier to work with, right? And then people that you probably make a ton of pumpkin pies, right?
I love yes.
Yeah.
We love making pies of all kinds.
Of all kinds?
Yes.
Well, pumpkin pie is just one of those mainstays, and people love cheesecake, so why not marry the two together into the ultimate thing? So what we're going to do with our cheesecake too, we're going to get 5 egg yolks in. Sure, that's easy for you to say. There you go. Keep it going. Oh, there we go. So what do you think about our studios? You like them?
I love it.
Awesome. This is right here at Monadnock Flooring. Talk about local. What was great about doing the studio together, it's all local businesses getting together to support the show and just feel like it's just such a great feeling to have, where everyone's just part of the show and gets excited with Cheshire TV and all the businesses that have gotten with us. And then what we're going to do is 1 egg yolk. See if you can get me from above. We're going to crack that. We're going to just try and keep the egg yolk. We're just going back and forth and getting the egg white out. Just want to get, come on, it's easy for you to do. All right, he doesn't want to go away. Stubborn one, huh? There we go. Ah, got it. And 1 egg yolk to our mix. And we get, look how nice and creamy that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
That's going to bind together just perfectly. Then let's get in our pumpkin mix. Again, we're using all the same base. I mean, we've cooked down the pumpkin, we've pulled it out of its shell, and we've mashed it up. Really don't do anything to it, just the natural flavors of the pumpkin. And like we said before, using those pie-type pumpkins are the best ones to cook with, right? The ones that we use for jack-o'-lanterns tend to be a little bit grainier.
Yeah, it's stringier.
Stringier,
Yeah.
definitely, and it definitely has a different feel to that. All right. Oh, don't forget the sugar. I knew I was forgetting something.
Sugar.
Thank you. And then we're going to add our sugar. Just a touch of sugar, right? Just a little bit of sugar.
Could you use like maple sugar? Wouldn't that taste good?
You know what? I think that would be wonderful. Yeah. Do a nice maple. That would. Oh.
There's some great
Now we're
maple
talking.
producers up in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
So
And just a little bit of sugar. Though.
just a little sugar.
Just a little bit of sugar. Trust me, I'm supposed to put all of this, all right? Just a touch of sugar.
So is that a couple cups of sugar?
That's like 3 cups of sugar.
3 cups of sugar?
And then a pinch just at the end. There we go.
No wonder it tastes good.
It's like the pumpkin's not sweet enough. There you go. Now what I like to do is also a little of that pumpkin pie spice, you know, that you would normally put on the pumpkin pie. Just kind of get that all in there. And then, let's see, boom, 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 yeah. Last minute, just a pinch of lemon juice. And that lemon juice, that tartness is just going to counteract or counterplay with all the sweetness you have going on, and then the pumpkin, and it's just going to bring out all these great flavors. We talk about it in savory cooking all the time, how a little bit of acidity really just makes everything else pop. By doing that, you're just going to get a ton of flavor. So we're going to let that mix up really nicely. And I like individual. I don't know about you, I just like having an individual cake. You know, something that's individual. So what I do, you don't even have to pre-grease them, but you just get ramekins like this that you would use for creme brulee. Whoop, let's not go too fast. And then we scoop out what we want for our pumpkin pie, or our cheesecake. No, I'm sorry. I keep thinking pumpkin pie. And this, 350 degrees in the oven, is where it's going to go. And then once it's cooked, we're going to come back, talk a little bit more about that. Once it's cooked, we're going to actually, you know what you need to do? You know,
I need to start whipping.
You know, you need to start whipping our whipped cream. So those are our 2 ramekins. Those are going to go in the oven. We'll tell you a little bit about them more. Let's wrap it all up. She's going to start on the whipped cream, which will take about 40, 45 minutes. And when we come back, her arm may be tired, but it'll be done. So start whipping, and when we come back, we'll put together the last of our culinary journey. See you in a minute. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to a whipped cream journey. Yeah, you laugh, Jen. Whew, I'm getting a workout. All right, so I'm making whipped cream. Here it comes, though. You see it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's getting there. All right.
Okay, everybody, yay! We whipped cream.
They're not that impressed. Look. All right, so today we did butternut squash ravioli with pancetta and sage with
really
cream. That
good.
was yummy, right?
Really delicious.
We did the butternut squash soup with the apple pie, the pumpkin pie kind of feel to it. And we did pumpkin cheesecake, which were baked for about an hour at 300 degrees. I mentioned a little more last time, 300 degrees. And we took them out of our 4 molds, kind of put an indentation in the middle of it. We have a nice little crumble around the outside and some caramel. And we'll take some of our whipped cream, place it right in the center of this, right? Well, that one's mine.
With a little pumpkin spice in it, it looks like.
Exactly. We just put some of that pumpkin pie spice mix with the nutmeg and the cinnamon. And voila.
I think this is a great way for kids to get their vegetables.
That, if we could do that with every vegetable, we'd be all set. And so our pumpkin journey is over. Pumpkin Festival was phenomenal. The autumn, fall, you know, that's just New England at its finest. It's just been a blast, and I'm glad you were able to join us, and thank you very much. Thank you to all your neighbors for being here today, and I'll see you on our next culinary journey.